Hey, it's been a while. I know I've been posting very frequently, consistently for weeks and months. So I decided to reward myself with a little break. So, um, really, I haven't been able to come up with a good topic that I wouldn't just ramble on, but I still did want to give you something that would be some useful advice, hopefully. And this is sparked by a video that I saw, or rather listened to recently, that was about something um, about like people not taking girls seriously, taking advantage of girls, something like that. And um, the part that like the video was fine, but the part that really irked me was the person speaking, she kept bringing up this thing, the study about like, the brain doesn't finish developing until 25. And this like kept reiterating that point. And something about that really just like rubbed me the wrong way. And like, I know it's not like an intentional thing where, someone is being, malicious and in saying that, someone under 25, may have poor decision making or something like that. But like, it's more about the implications of what they're saying. And people who have good intentions, they don't always end up doing and saying things that are actually helpful. So, to try to keep this brief, I took some notes to hopefully keep myself coherent. And also, pardon my throat's been like sore all day. So, oh boy. So, I actually took the time to read about the study, and the main thing that it was mentioning was how that part of the brain, like that, the frontal lobe, over the study of I think it was like 3,000 people, um, with the age range capping at 26, if I remember correctly, measuring frontal lobe development. And I thought it was a little interesting that they're like, yeah, the brain finishes developing at 25, and that's like the kind of like general, generally accepted conclusion of the study when the cap for the age, at least from what I read, was 26. So, like at 26, your brain just like stops growing. Apparently, like that's not the reality of it, and that's not like what the studies said. But there's a major difference in how something gets perceived by the public when it comes to studies and what the study was actually saying. And unfortunately, the people who do these studies and publish these studies aren't exactly the most responsible with the presentation of their findings. And it's like, oh, I'll just say this whatever way, and then people will perceive it, whatever way, and that way tends to be not what the study was actually saying. But once misinformation gets to a certain point, it, it doesn't become true, but um, it becomes widely believed to a point where it gets hard to refute. So, a major problem that I had, well, throughout my work experience, pardon again, gosh, I'm getting old. A major problem I've been having was when it's known that you're under 25, employers will have this expectation that, they can give you more work, and, they can, they can cheat you out of things because you're young, and you're naive. And, their rationalization here is that, oh, this is a science based fact. We don't have to pay you as much because, statistically, you're more likely to do like frivolous things with your money. But like, it doesn't matter what you spend your money on. You know, you should earn like what you deserve. But the this idea of like, you know, once your brain finishes developing, then you can do whatever thing. It's more like in a social lens, but it's like you're afforded this respect that, hypothetically anyway, that you just don't get, when you're under that age. And the justification, being, well, your frontal lobe hasn't finished developing yet. And something that, I've fallen into, and I've definitely seen other people fall into, is wanting to disprove that, to show you actually know what you're doing, that you're competent. So then you overexert yourself, and you do so much more to prove how much you actually know, and that you're capable and deserving of, what you're doing, and that you deserve, the money that you make, and more than that. But you don't get anything more from, pushing yourself. The main takeaway here: if someone isn't going to respect you, they don't need a reason to not respect you. They just won't. I mean, if they find some excuse to not give you something, then they'll use it. But they don't need one. The conclusion in this case comes before the reasoning. And let's see. So, in relation to that video that I brought up, I still have I think 3 minutes left. In relation to that video, that sparked all of this for me is, if someone is like they're 18 or older, right, but they're under 25, you will still get that, oh, you're so mature for your age, blah, 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 and whatever. And there are people who they believe so strongly in this fact, your brain hasn't finished developing. And, they use that as a way to figure out like, who they can take advantage of, and, who they can prey on. Like, they see it less as like, just like a factoid, and more so like, oh, their brain hasn't finished developing yet. And they start like, rubbing their hands together, and they start scheming or something. And like, I get where the idea, comes from, because like, you get older, hypothetically you get better decision making. That doesn't work across the board. But, generally that's true. But the thing is, like, that idea of like, 25 being the golden age where your brain finishes developing, and then, you are able to make good decisions and everything like that. Like, realistically, that's like, in practice, is used to deprive you of things, to like take advantage of you. And I think it's so odd, you know, when that gets, brought up, and then this video is brought up over and over again. Pardon. And it just felt so, like, strange hearing that, because it's like, well, you can go into the military if you're like 17 and your parents give you the okay. You can take out loans for college, right? You can take out loans for a car and stuff like that. But like what is the 25 thing used for, if not, like, you don't need to be paid this much to do this, or seeing what they can get away with, in seeing you as naive and having, like, a scientific backing for seeing you as naive. And it's like it assigns this, like, morality to it. I've gone over my time, but that's okay. It's like it assigns this, like, morality to aging, where not in, like, terms of, like, aging generally, but just being over 25, and how that relates to people who are not yet 25. And there's this kind of, like, hierarchy almost. And overall, before I keep rambling, I just don't think it's very helpful, but I mean, I'm still forming my thoughts about this. I might revisit it another time. Um, hmm, yeah. But, anyway, that's all. Love you so much, and I will be back in a few months.